Okay. Hello. Thank you for coming to my first video. Welcome to Citrus Celeste. I just realized that I kind of have a lisp when I say sounds. So I don't think Citrus Celeste was the best name for me, but it's cute, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Before we start, I just want to quickly apologize for the audio and probably the horrid editing. It's been a while since I've edited, and I'm gonna work on getting a mic. So hopefully these are two things that are fixed, so the collective 8 people that watch my videos aren't annoyed all the time. Okay? Okay, so now let's get into the serious stuff. I am going to be talking about a quote-unquote murder mystery, aka a true crime event that happened, and I want to preference all that information by first saying that I might insert what I hope is calming aesthetic game clips in between my talkings, just to give you something to see sometimes when I have nothing to show. I hope you don't find it disrespectful to the victim. I'd rather show some sloppy gameplay than like an explicit picture of a body or something of that sort. Yeah? I mean, at least that's my reasoning. I don't know. Okay, so let's just get right into it because there is a lot to talk about in this case. Darlene Flynn lived in Menifee, California, and as she liked to put it, she was
crazy obsessed with shoes.
She had 15,000 different shoe-related items, ranging from furniture to miniature figures to actual shoes. This obscure achievement was even verified by the Guinness Book of World Record in 2006. She was literally the Queen of Soul. Like, people called her that.
I have 10 rooms in the house, and every single one of the rooms has a bunch of shoe items in it. Why shoes? They're beautiful because they're unique, and they just kind of pop out at me and say, hey, here I am.
This, I guess you could call obsession, started in 2001 when she divorced from her husband. I searched for the longest time to find his name and saw somewhere it was Robert. I can't even remember which article I saw it. I'm going to be trying to link my sources in the description. But he's not important to the case at all. But Robert divorcing her is what led down to this footprint path. So like, thanks Robert. Anyways, Darlene didn't want to stay at home after all that and decided to emotionally recover at her friend's house, who also happened to love shoes, specifically miniature shoes for display. Darlene saw this and was like, wow, this is wild. I'm in love right now. And she decided to start collecting herself. I gave her something else to focus on besides the divorce, which I think I can understand. Maybe this isn't correlated, but all I know is that my parents are divorced and I go through deep phases where I hoard different items. My Monster High doll collection's immaculate. Even now, I quickly buy every new scent of Burt's Bees lip balm that I see and manically apply them on my lips. But I'm just coping, bro. Please. Darlene had an end goal for all these shoes too. She wanted to open her own shoe-based museum. She even wanted to open her own shoe line.
I'm hoping to launch my own shoe line. This is actually my first design. This little baby is called My Angel. It's made with a halo with Swarovski crystals. Hopefully it will be in manufacturing in the next couple months.
Sadly, she wasn't able to make it this far. But let's take a step back. Darlene was a divorced woman who was liberated and loved her shoes. They made her confident. Menifee, California wasn't the biggest place around this time. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never been, but that's how it's described, right? Okay. Still though, Darlene decided to go to a bar. Ironically, it was right next door to this place for AA meetings, but either way, there is when she met 29-year-old Justin Smith. Darlene, who was 59, was attracted to him right away.
Justin at a local bar, and I was wearing my sexy light-up shoes.
I was standing next to her with my back turned.
My friend, she said, did you see the size of those boots?
And she said, hey, cowboy, do you dance? And I said, yes, I do.
So we went out dancing, and we danced the whole night long.
Justin quickly ended up moving in with Darlene. I'm assuming he didn't have a job. You'll see why as I explain the story into full depth. It's pretty clear that he was heavily relying on poor Darlene for everything. She was literally financially supporting him. I couldn't really find much information on him though. Every time I look up his name, I have to mention Darlene in the search, otherwise it gives me some random NFL player. Like, no hate to him, but I really got annoyed seeing his face. Like, bro, I'm trying to research here, you know? Most information I've really heard for him, or about him, was in the TLC show she was showcased in. I've been using really low quality clips of it throughout, by the way. By that time, he had already been really annoyed with her. He was tired of the whole shoe fiasco, saying he was tired of looking and talking and discussing footwear all day. But like, you live there. You saw her hustle and how passionate she was. If you weren't into that, find someone else to pay the bills while you do nothing. Justin was aware of who she was and was angry that she would not subdue herself for him. Like, what a boring man. He did seem to pull it together, however, for the TLC show. Darlene cleaned her entire house, polishing every shoe, and Justin got his act together for the cameras. They even made up this story about him cooking a shoe breakfast every morning.
Lily and I sometimes argue about her shoes. Sometimes I think she gets too many shoes, but I learned to just deal with it. Lily makes me make her a shoe breakfast. I'll make scrambled eggs and bacon, and then when I put it on the plate, I'll form it into a shoe and serve it to her. Good morning, shoe heart. Made you shoe breakfast.
Thank you, honey.
You can literally see the fact that he's barely cooked a day in his life. Y'all saw those dry sausages? Those dry eggs? No, ma'am. I'm sure they must have argued about the whole calling her shoe heart thing too. Poor Mr. Cowboy being forced to show affection on camera. Child. Anyways. Justin also liked to argue about money a lot. Allegedly, he would borrow, aka just take money from Darlene. He was already dependent on her, so the fact he was also stealing from her was really evil, in my opinion. Like, you're not a child. You're a grown man who is perfectly able-bodied and had the ability to work. I also just want to clarify that, like, Darlene was not a sugar mama. That's not the type of relationship they had. He was downright using her. You know what I mean? And also, another scummy thing Justin did was even sell her whole ass car without her knowledge. Obviously, she was going to find out. Her neighbors reported that they could constantly hear them fighting all the time, and this instant just seemed like another fight. But it wasn't. Darlene called the cops on Justin, as she should have. Justin was charged with misdemeanor conviction for grand theft in 2012. He was sentenced to only 3 years probation, which included not having contact with Darlene. Yeah, that didn't exactly work out. Darlene allowed Justin to live with her during that time. She felt bad for him because he didn't have a place to live, and let's face it, Darlene was an empathetic baby, and she probably still really loved him. Like, he was the only man she had been with since her ex-husband. I can't confirm if they were still technically dating at this point. Some articles say roommate, and others say boyfriend, so I guess it's up to interpretation. I'd assume it was just a really toxic friendship at this point. I don't know. Darlene really needed to get rid of him, but against her better judgment, she still took care of him. Even through all this, Justin still picked fights with her. Her neighbors, once again, like always, could hear the commotion and reported that it had been way worse after his misdemeanor. He started doing more chores around the house, once again, as he should. Like, free rent at home after all he took from her? And you expect not to be sweeping the floors? No ma'am. No ma'am. July 21st, 2013, the police were called to Darlene's house after the neighbors reported there was a fight unlike any other. They were really going at it, and they were afraid it was getting physical. The police went down there at around 2 p.m. and knocked at the door. No one answered. They took a look around the lot and they saw a naked man in the garage. He was surrounded by the towers of shoe boxes that were there. The man ran like a bat out of hell. Well, like a bat, he didn't make out of his cave. The police got him down the street and obviously arrested him for questioning. Like, 1, why are you here not even a year later during your probation? And 2, You're a naked man running with your bare ass down the road for anyone to see. That man was Justin. Go figure, right? I wanted to make sure Darlene was alright, so they went in and took a look around the inside of the home. Police found a body. The body was in the pool, face down, and quickly it was identified as Darlene's, which was hard because after what he did to her, Darlene's face was almost not recognizable. You could see that there was some blunt force trauma on her head. Justin was put on $1 million bail.
Michelle, as you said, the woman who lived here apparently had the largest collection of shoe-related items anywhere in the world. But it was a domestic dispute that brought the cops out here on Monday, and now that woman's boyfriend is charged with murder. Just looking at this house from the outside, you can tell the person who lived here was a big fan of shoes. In fact, 58-year-old Darlene Flynn was recently featured on the TLC show My Collection Obsession.
I have 14,999 shoe-related items.
Also featured on the show, Flynn's boyfriend, 29-year-old Justin Smith.
Well, Darlene, I mean, that's all she talks about when she gets up in the morning is shoes, shoes, shoes.
But today, Flynn and Smith are in the news for a different reason: murder. Flynn was found dead in her own swimming pool the other day, and now it's her boyfriend, the same one featured on the show with her, who's under arrest.
Allegedly, the argument started when Justin took $50 from her purse. When Darlene found out, she was at her limit. She was tired of taking care of him and helping him and getting nothing back in return. She wanted him to leave. And as you can see, Justin wasn't too happy with that idea. Justin said he had no recollection of what happened, stating he just blacked out. He just quote-unquote lost it. Like, okay, sure buddy, right? He said Darlene made him feel like the bad guy. Like, no shit. You are the bad guy, right? Like, come on. You were the one stealing and mooching, so yeah. She hit him in his chest with her fist, sent him to go packing, and went to cool off by the pool. She didn't want to see him walking around and screaming for another chance. Hell no, she said, I'm relaxing over here. Do what needs to be done. I don't think he clearly understood what she meant by that, but Justin saw Darlene in the pool, found a baseball bat, walked out there, creeped up behind her, and swung. It made an awful crack sound, kind of like when you bite on hard pasta, but like 10 times harder. This man beat the back of her head 5 to 6 times. I don't know about you, but they were not talking. It was not mid-fight. He went out of his way to get the bat and then snuck up on her. Sure, you could say it was an impulse decision, but it doesn't sound like he snapped. He calculated it to some degree. To make the situation even worse, not to be graphic, but after this estimated 6 hits, she was still trying to get up. She was alive and scared. And then he hit her with the bat until it broke. It was a wooden bat. You know what I mean? It was made out of solid wood. It wasn't hollow. Do you know how much force you have to put into breaking that thing? Like, you can't say that. You know what I mean? You can't say it was an accident. I don't. During the court case, he kept stating he didn't mean to kill her, which makes no sense. Like I just said, a hollow bat that it wasn't even by the pool. It was clearly out of the way. In fact, it was by the front entrance because they didn't live in the best neighborhood. So they kind of had that bat to defend themselves in case something happened and someone broke in. And he knew where that bat was, obviously, because he lived with her for so long. So he got that bat that was meant to protect her, and he killed her with it. You know what I mean? And not to mention, something else that I had found out while I was looking into it, after he killed her, he went back inside and made lunch. Like, I don't even know what he made. He probably made his fucking gross-ass scrambled high heels. And, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't going to call the police. Who knows how long he was going to sit there and live in that house without reporting Darlene. He probably wouldn't have if the neighbors hadn't. You know what I mean? His attorney made him keep up with that story, hoping to get him a lighter sentence. And somehow it worked. Well, it didn't really exactly work. Okay, like, prosecution did say that he knew exactly what he was doing, which, like, duh. Duh. They wanted to sentence him to first-degree murder, but since he was so stuck on the fact that he didn't break the bat hitting her because he wanted her dead, that he ended up guilty with second-degree murder thanks to the jury, which, like, thanks, jury. Justin was served 16 years to life. The judge commented that it was the most violent case he's ever seen on the job, which, like, honestly, I just feel so bad. Like, it's kind of crazy because Eileen seemed like such a sweetheart, or such a shoe heart, right? Like, all she wanted was her shoes and her museum, and she was hardworking too. She really had aspirations and goals with her whole shoe thing, And it's so nice to see people that are actually passionate about something do something and make a living out of it, right? And it's just so sad because, like, she was doing something that not many people can say that they're doing, having a job that you love. And side note, she was an accountant on the side, but she really wanted to focus on her shoes. And it's so sad. It really is, because she could have done great things, and, like, obviously our paths wouldn't have crossed because I don't need miniature shoes, but, like, she would have made so many people happy, and she really did seem to be dedicated to her craft. So, yeah, in conclusion, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. The story's over. Justin is currently in jail, which, period, he should be there, and I hope he rots. And I'm not sorry for saying that. I'm really not. I'm not. Like, fuck you, man.